stores the food. Yesterday you studied about the stomach. So today you will be able to just identify the whatever we have specimens here. In that you will be able to just identify the stomach, and maybe you can identify the blood supply where it is arising. So that's it. More than that, I don't think we have any more models regarding that. So before going into the stomach, you should know where the stomach is situated. It is situated in 3 quadrants of the abdomen. One is this quadrant. This quadrant is known as epigastric. Okay. Most of the stomach is present in this quadrant. Okay, or this quadrant, which is called as the epigastrium. Then it extends and removes. You see here, the stomach, most of it is present in this region, which is the epigastrium, which is this quadrant. Then it extends here onto the left hypochondrium. Okay, it extends into the left hypochondrium, which is this one. Then little bit it goes down in this quadrant where the umbilicus is present. It is called as the umbilical quadrant. Okay, so in these 3 quadrants the stomach is present. Now when you see the anterior relations of the stomach, you can see. Okay, before going into the anterior relations, you should know that the stomach consists of 2 surfaces. What are the 2 surfaces? One is this surface, which you can see, that is the anterior surface. This anterior surface is also called as superior surface. Okay, why it is called as superior surface, or anterior and superior? When the stomach is empty, it comes into this shape, but when the stomach is full, it goes into a shape which is like something, it is sleeping. Okay, so because of that, the anterior surface becomes what surface? Superior surface. The anterior surface becomes superior surface. The posterior surface becomes inferior surface. So that's why we call this surface as anterior surface or superior surface, and the surface behind as a posterior surface or inferior surface. Now this anterior surface, as you saw, I removed this liver from here. So this part of the anterior surface, it is covered by liver. This part is covered by what? What is this? Diaphragm. Okay, left crust. This is the left crust, this is the right crust. So this part, the stomach is like this. So this part above, this part is covered by the left crust of the diaphragm, and this left crust of the diaphragm separates the stomach from left lung and the pleura. Here you have a pleura here. This white color thing is pleura. So it separating, this diaphragm is separating this stomach from the left lung and the pleura covering the left lung. The diaphragmatic pleura covering the left lung. So this was the anterior surface. What else is there which is covering stomach on the anterior surface? This part of stomach is covered by, what is missing here? Abdominal wall. Okay, so this part of stomach is related to the anterior abdominal wall. So this was the anterior relations of the stomach. Anterior relation related to the anterior surface. Now we will go to the posterior relations, which is more important, very important. And posterior relations are called as stomach bed, because the stomach is lying on it. So it is called as stomach bed. If I remove this, this is the posterior aspect of stomach. These are the posterior relations. Before going into posterior relations, you should know one very important thing. Between the stomach and this posterior relations, there is one space present there. What is that space? Lesser sac. It is called as lesser sac. So the first posterior relation of the stomach will be lesser sac. It is a potential space which is usually empty in nature. Okay, so that it will give space for the stomach to distend. Very good. So it will give space for the stomach to distend. Okay, so posteriorly it is related to the lesser sac, except for this region. Except for this region where the stomach is related to the spleen, that is, except this region alone, it is related to greater sac. Everywhere else, all this region, it is related to the lesser sac. The region where there is a spleen alone, it is related to the greater sac. And remember, this lesser sac and greater sac relations are for distension of the stomach. Comfortably it gets distended. Okay. Sorry, I made a mistake. It is not greater sac which is related here. Greater sac is related on to the, not from behind, from here it is. From here it starts and completely in front it comes. Okay, not completely behind. From here it will start greater sac and it will come like this in front. From here it will come like this in front. So behind lesser sac, in front greater sac. So both spaces will allow it to expand. Now what are the relations which are present posteriorly, which is called as the stomach bed? Very, very important, remember. First thing, what you are seeing here, what is this? This is the
large.
This part of large intestine is called as transverse colon. This transverse colon is also related to the posterior aspect, because when I put it like this, you see here, this is the posterior aspect. It is related to the transverse colon. So transverse colon. This part of peritoneum is called as transverse mesocolon. Transverse mesocolon. So transverse colon is related, transverse mesocolon is related. Third thing is this structure. What is this?
Pancreas.
The pancreas. Okay. Pancreas related posteriorly. Anterior surface of the pancreas is related posteriorly. Fourth structure is this artery or vessel which is present here. What is this?
Renal artery.
It goes to the,
Oh,
what is this?
kidney. What is spleen?
Spleen. Okay, not kidney. This is kidney.
Oh, okay.
I'll remove this, you will know which is kidney and which is spleen. Okay.
It's always in the vessel.
Okay. Now, spleen, kidney. What is this? Suprarenal
Suprarenal
gland.
gland.
Which suprarenal gland? Which side?
Yes.
Left. Okay. Because spleen is all present in the left side. So this pancreas is related. Then this artery is called as the splenic artery. Very important artery. The splenic artery is related posteriorly. Then you have the
Left kidney.
left kidney is related. Left suprarenal gland is related. Spleen is related. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. One more structure I missed, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm not. Eighth structure is the lesser sac. Okay, the lesser sac, which you cannot see.
Yes.
So these are the posterior relations of the stomach. Now coming on to the blood supply of the stomach. Before blood supply, you see this is the stomach. This stomach consists of what you see here. So whatever you are seeing here, the anterior surface, and next this one is the posterior surface. What you see this, there are two ends in the stomach. What are the two ends? The upper end is called as the cardiac orifice. The lower end is called as the pyloric orifice or the pylorus. Cardiac orifice and the pylorus. Okay, it consists of two borders. This big border is called as the greater curvature because it is curved. So greater curvature. this small border is known as
Small.
lesser curvature, greater, lesser. Okay, now there is one angle present in the lesser curvature, one angle present in the greater curvature. The angle which is present here, this is called as incisura angularis. Okay, this one here is called as a incisura angularis. Now the angle which is present between, what is this structure here? Esophagus. Between the esophagus and the stomach upper part here, this angle is called as the cardiac notch. This is the cardiac notch. Yes. What time is your lab? You check the group. Huh? Group? Group 1 is at last. Yes. You can come at that time. Okay. So this one was the angular notch. The angular notch. This one is the cardiac notch. So two notches are present. Then you have, when you draw a line from this angular notch to this side, okay, one line like this to a bulge here. This is a bulge here. So one line if you draw here like this, the part above this line, this is the line, okay, the part above this line is called as the cardiac portion. The part below this line is called as the pyloric part. Cardiac part and pyloric part. Now cardiac part, again if you draw one line from this notch to the greater curvature, the part above this line is called as the, what it is called as? If it is filled with air, it is the fundus. This part is called as the fundus. Okay, below that, from here till here, it is called as the body. Fundus is always filled with air. Then this is the body. Below you have the pylorus. In pyloric part, it is again divided into three parts. This broad part is called as pyloric antrum. This narrow part is called as pyloric canal, and the opening here, this opening is called as the pylorus. This opening is called as the pylorus. Remember, the pylorus or pyloric opening is guarded by an anatomical sphincter. Sphincter, you know what is sphincter? Valve. Okay, which will control the flow of the contents of the stomach outside. Stomach is connected above to the esophagus through the cardiac orifice. Stomach is connected below to the duodenum through the pyloric orifice. Okay. Now here there is one anatomical sphincter which you can see with your eyes, but above there is a physiological sphincter. You cannot see it, but there is a functionally it is a present there. Okay, there is a physiological sphincter present at the cardiac opening or at the cardiac end of the stomach. Now coming to the blood supply of the stomach. What is the blood supply of the stomach? Anyone knows? Very good. Then two more. Totally 5 arteries. Left gastric, right gastric, short gastric, left gastroepiploic, right gastroepiploic. Very easy. Left and right gastric, left and right gastroepiploic. 4 and short. Okay. So these 5 are the blood supply to the stomach, and how they are supplying, from where they are coming, that you should know it. They all arise from this structure. What you see here, what is this? Abdominal aorta. Okay. The stomach is developing from the foregut. All the structures which develop from the foregut, they get their blood supply from this branch of abdominal aorta. This is called as the celiac trunk. This is called as celiac trunk. As soon as the celiac trunk comes out, it divides into 3 branches. As soon as it is a very short trunk, it is not even 1 centimeter in length. Okay, so that's why you see at once it is present as a branches there itself. Okay, so this celiac trunk gives rise to 3 branches. One branch is directly, so if stomach is like this, one branch will be directly coming to the stomach. That is called as the left gastric artery. Okay, it is called as the left gastric artery. Okay, you can see that picture in your this thing. Okay, I think they have tried to show this left gastric artery as this one. Okay, now one direct branch is coming, that is called as the left gastric artery. Second branch is coming, which is called as splenic artery. Okay, second one is called as splenic artery. You see this is the splenic artery going like this. Third one is there, which is called as the hepatic artery, which goes to the liver. Okay, so 3 branches. Now left gastric artery directly is arising from this celiac trunk, and it is supplying which region? It is supplying, stomach is present like this, it is supplying this region of the stomach. So what you see here, this one is the left gastric artery. Sorry, left side. Yes, correct. This is the left gastric artery, because it is arising from which side of the celiac trunk? It is arising from the left side. Okay, it is going to the left side. Now coming to the right gastric artery, from where this right gastric artery is arising. The right gastric artery is a branch which is arising from the hepatic artery. Hepatic artery or splenic artery? Yes, it is arising from the hepatic artery. Hepatic artery comes like this. It gives one branch down like this. That branch will come here and it will supply this area. So what you see here, this is the right gastric artery. What you see, this is the right gastric. The upper part is the left gastric. Right gastric, left gastric. Okay, right and left gastric arteries. Right gastric arising from the splenic artery arising from celiac trunk. Left gastric arising from celiac trunk directly. Now the right and the left gastroepiploic. As you saw, left gastric was supplying here, left gastroepiploic will supply here, and right gastric was supplying here, right gastroepiploic will supply here. Okay, so you should know where these arteries are arising from. The left gastroepiploic artery is arising from this artery. What artery is this? Splenic. From the splenic artery, the left gastroepiploic artery will arise and it will come like this and it will supply. So this one is the left gastroepiploic artery. Then from the splenic artery, short gastric will arise and this supply the region of the fundus. In this fundus is supplied by the short gastric artery arising from this splenic artery. Now which one is left? Right gastroepiploic artery. This is the right gastroepiploic artery, or this one is present here, which is the right gastroepiploic artery, and this right gastroepiploic artery arises from the hepatic artery. You see here, hepatic artery is present here. From this hepatic artery, you will have one branch. Okay, that branch is called as a gastroduodenal artery. This gastroduodenal artery will come down. It will give one more. It will divide into 2 more branches. In that one branch is the right gastroepiploic artery. So these are the arteries which are supplying the stomach. Okay, so plainly, if you want to say, this is left gastric artery. This one is right gastric artery. Left gastric artery, direct branch from the celiac trunk. The Right gastric artery is a branch from spleen. I am not sure whether it is a branch from splenic or hepatic. Okay, just refer it. I forgot. I think it is hepatic, not splenic. I'm a little confused. Okay, so refer whether it is from splenic or hepatic. I think it is hepatic, not splenic. Okay, hepatic. Then you have left gastroepiploic, right gastroepiploic. Left gastroepiploic is from the splenic artery. Okay, short gastric artery is from the splenic artery, and this one is right gastroepiploic, branch of gastroduodenal artery. Gastroduodenal is a branch of hepatic. Okay, now I am sure that two branches are arising from hepatic artery. One is right gastroepiploic and other one is right gastric. Right gastric is not from splenic. Okay, I remember now because I remember it as two branches arising from hepatic artery, two branches arising from splenic artery. What are the two branches arising from splenic?
Right.
Short and
Left
left gastroepiploic. Short and left gastroepiploic. And one branch arising directly from the celiac trunk. That will be the left gastric artery. So these are the branches which are supplying the stomach. So with this, your class is over.